What if I told you that there's one type of empath that makes narcissists physically uncomfortable the moment they enter a room? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you understand the hidden power dynamics between empaths and narcissists. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why this particular empath is the narcissist's ultimate nightmare. Here's what most people don't realize. Narcissists aren't afraid of empaths in general. In fact, they actively hunt them. They see empathy as weakness, as something to exploit. But there's one specific type of empath that triggers something primal in narcissists, something close to fear. And the reason why will blow your mind. You see, this empath doesn't look different from the outside. They're still kind, still compassionate, still emotionally intelligent. But there's something in their eyes, something in their energy, something that Carl Jung would have called the integrated shadow. They've been through hell, survived narcissistic abuse, done the deep psychological work, and emerged not just healed, but transformed into something far more powerful. Listen carefully to what makes this empath different. They possess what I call the holy trinity of psychological immunity. They see you completely, they remain emotionally detached, and they have absolutely nothing to prove. And this combination is absolutely devastating to anyone who operates through manipulation. But here's where it gets fascinating. When a narcissist encounters this type of empath, something strange happens. The narcissist's usual confidence wavers. Their charm feels forced. Their manipulation tactics seem to hit an invisible wall and bounce back. And they can't understand why. They can't pinpoint what's different about this person, but they feel it in their bones. Carl Jung understood something profound about human perception. He discovered that we unconsciously sense when someone can see through our persona, through our mask. The narcissist operates entirely through deception, both of themselves and others. But this type of empath has developed what Jung called psychological X-ray vision. They see beyond the performance, straight through to the wounded ego, desperately trying to maintain control. Here's what happens next, and it will send chills down your spine. The narcissist tries their standard playbook: the love bombing, the mirroring, the carefully crafted vulnerability designed to hook empathetic people. But this empath, they watch it all with a knowing calm. Not judgment, not anger, just recognition. And that recognition is more unsettling to the narcissist than any confrontation could ever be. Because here's the truth that narcissists can never admit: they know they're performing. Deep down, beneath all the layers of false self, they know they're empty. And when they encounter someone who can see that emptiness clearly, but doesn't try to fill it, doesn't try to fix them, doesn't try to save them, it triggers their deepest fear. The fear of being truly seen and found wanting. But here's the part that absolutely devastates narcissists. This type of empath doesn't react emotionally to provocations. They don't take the bait. They don't defend themselves against false accusations. They don't engage in the drama. Jung observed that the most powerful position in any psychological dynamic is detachment born from understanding. This empath has mastered it completely. What researchers have discovered about this dynamic will redefine everything you thought you knew about narcissistic behavior. Narcissists need you to need them. They need you to chase, they need you to explain, they need you to prove your worth. But this empath needs nothing from them. And that void where the narcissist expected dependency creates a psychological crisis. Listen to this carefully, because this is where the narcissist's fear becomes tangible. This type of empath doesn't just have boundaries. They have what I call impenetrable psychological sovereignty. They know exactly who they are. They've faced their own darkness. They've integrated their shadow. Carl Jung said that those who have confronted their inner demons become immune to external manipulation. This empath is living proof. The narcissist tries harder. They escalate. They attempt to create chaos, manufacture crises, force emotional reactions. But the empath remains steady, grounded, unmoved. It's like watching someone try to manipulate a mountain. The mountain doesn't argue. It doesn't explain itself. It simply exists, solid and immovable. And this drives narcissists absolutely insane. But here's the absolutely mind-blowing part. This empath doesn't fear the narcissist's rage. They don't fear the smear campaign. They don't fear being alone. They don't fear losing the relationship, because they've already lost the one thing that matters most and found it again, themselves. Jung called this psychological rebirth, and once someone has been through it, external threats lose their power. What happens when a narcissist realizes they can't affect this person is what I call the predator's retreat. Animals in nature instinctively know when they've encountered something they can't overpower. Narcissists have this same instinct. They sense that this empath isn't prey. They recognize, perhaps unconsciously, that continuing to engage is not only futile, but potentially dangerous to their own carefully constructed false self. Here's why this is so terrifying to narcissists. This type of empath has something they can never possess: genuine self-knowledge. The narcissist's entire existence is built on avoiding their true self, on maintaining elaborate illusions, on controlling how others perceive them. But this empath lives in truth. They know their flaws. They've accepted their imperfections. They've made peace with their humanity. Carl Jung understood that authenticity is the most powerful force in human psychology. The person who knows themselves completely cannot be told who they are. They cannot be gaslit into questioning their reality. They cannot be manipulated into doubting their perceptions. They are psychologically untouchable, and narcissists sense this immediately. It's why they often avoid this type of empath entirely. It's why they might target them briefly, but retreat quickly when their tactics fail. It's why they speak about them with a mixture of confusion and resentment. Because deep down, this empath represents everything the narcissist is terrified of becoming: vulnerable, authentic, and genuinely self-aware. But here's the final truth that makes this empath absolutely unstoppable. They don't use their power to destroy narcissists. They don't seek revenge. They don't need to prove anything. They simply exist in their truth, set their boundaries, and walk away from toxicity without looking back. Jung would call this the transcendent function, the ability to rise above the drama without losing one's compassion. The narcissist fears this empath because they represent the one thing narcissism cannot survive: transparent, unwavering truth. Not truth spoken cruelly or weaponized, but truth embodied in someone who has integrated their light and shadow so completely that deception simply cannot find a foothold. This type of empath has learned that their empathy is not a weakness to be exploited, but a strength to be protected. They've discovered that understanding someone's pain doesn't obligate them to be wounded by it. They've mastered what Jung called conscious compassion, the ability to care without carrying, to understand without enabling, to see without saving. When narcissists encounter this level of psychological integration, they don't just feel uncomfortable. They feel exposed, and exposure is the narcissist's greatest fear. Because once the mask is seen for what it is, once the performance is recognized as performance, their entire house of cards becomes unstable. This is why narcissists fear this type of empath. Not because they're cruel or vengeful, but because they're whole. Not because they attack, but because they see. Not because they're strong in spite of their empathy, but because they're strong because of it. And that kind of integrated power is something manipulation can never touch.